Cameos are awesome. There's just something about watching a movie and having your favorite star appear out of nowhere. Sometimes these parts are planned by the filmmakers months in advance, but a lot of the time they happen on the fly, even after a movie has already started shooting. This can lead to some pretty creative on-the-fly thinking, and these actors did the best they could with what they were given. If you like what you see, check out our YouTube channel for more of our videos.
That's a good idea, honey.
But in the meantime, here are 10 celebrity cameos in popular movies that didn't go as planned. And before we start, can you guess this movie from these emojis? Stay tuned for the answer at the end of our video. Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. If you were to look at marketing alone, you might get the impression that the Joker is a big part of 2016's Suicide Squad, and rightfully so. Jared Leto's take on the iconic villain was heavily featured in the press leading up to the film's release. The character took center stage in the trailers, and alongside Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn was the subject of much pre-release anticipation. But reshoots and rumors of studio meddling resulted in a lot of Leto's best work ending up on the cutting room floor, turning what looked like a full-blown role into about 10 minutes on screen. Thankfully, a lot of it can be found in the extended cut. Channing Tatum in This Is the End. This Is the End is an entire movie built on cameo appearances. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg called for backup, and Hollywood responded in a big way. From Emma Watson to Rihanna, pretty much all of Rogen's friends showed up. But the one person he wasn't so sure about asking was Channing Tatum. Due to the nature of the cameo, Rogen was worried about Tatum being offended by the request.
See that? I'll slide right in that whatever I want.
Not really considering that he might actually say yes. The actor has since said he was probably drunk or on Ambien when he agreed to make the appearance, but either way, it's a good one.
It's Channing Tatum, dog!
I love him.
It's G.I. Joe, dude. Loves me.
Now shut the fuck up and let me do my job!
Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder. Tom Cruise is borderline unrecognizable in 2008's Tropic Thunder. The actor slays as Les Grossman, a foul-mouthed Hollywood bigwig responsible for the movie within a movie.
Hit that director in the face. Really hard.
Grossman is big and hairy, but mostly he's mean. Justin Theroux is responsible for the majority of Grossman's gloriously uncouth dialogue, but everything else was pure Tom Cruise. Initially slated to play Ben Stiller's character, Cruise was instead given free reign over Grossman, and the movie is better for it. His scenes didn't go as planned because production had literally no idea what to expect when he showed up on set. That's Hollywood though. One day you don't have a character, the next you have 12 people hand-punching custom hairpieces for Tom Cruise. Selena Gomez in The Big Short. For most of us, the inner workings of the mid-2000s financial crisis are hard to comprehend. 2015's The Big Short tries to explain what happened. And while director Adam McKay lays a pretty accessible foundation of knowledge, some concepts are trickier than others. Thankfully, celebrity tutors are peppered throughout the film, breaking the fourth wall to keep the audience up to speed. The movie is set in New York, and in that town, nobody's bigger than Beyoncé and Jay-Z. At one point, they were on the books to film one of the aforementioned tutorials. But when they became unavailable, their cameo went to Selena Gomez instead. You snooze, you lose.
Oh, God, I'm on fire! Ouch!
Bill Murray in Zombieland. Jesse Eisenberg and Emma Stone may both be megastars now, but when Zombieland was released, the pair were relative unknowns. Co-stars Woody Harrelson and Abigail Breslin brought some name recognition to the small cast of characters, and helped the film become a sleeper hit of 2009. And as talented as all these people are, we have to acknowledge the one true champion of the zombie apocalypse, Bill Murray. The celebrity cameo was originally written for Patrick Swayze, and after batting around a few other names, the filmmakers worked up the courage to ask Harrelson to ask Murray if he would do it. Turns out he was thrilled to be involved, and even got to add a little creative input of his own.
Suits my lifestyle. You know, I like to get out and do stuff.
The writers originally envisioned his character as a super zombie, but the scene evolved into something infinitely more hilarious. Mike Tyson in The Hangover. Mike Tyson's scenes are arguably the best part of 2009's The Hangover, and that's a pretty big compliment considering he shares the screen with Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, and a tiger. The filmmakers were stoked when the boxer signed on, but didn't fully understand his motivation for doing so until after filming wrapped. Tyson was struggling with substance abuse at the time, and has since discussed how he needed the money from that role to keep fueling his habit. The movie went on to be a huge success and even spawned a couple of sequels. And Kid Dynamite's reputation experienced a bit of a comeback too.
The Thing. Is this dork made of orange rock like the rest of his body?
It's a superhero secret.
Stan Lee in Mallrats. By this point, Stan Lee has been in a ton of movies. He's famous for making cameos in Marvel films. So when he was recently asked which appearance was his favorite, everyone assumed he'd pick something from the MCU. Lee surprised fans with his answers, saying his part in Kevin Smith's Mallrats was his number one. And what's even more interesting is that it almost didn't even happen. Smith never thought someone as iconic as Stan Lee would ever agree to appear in the movie.
And you are a god!
So he didn't even ask, and wrote the character to be his likeness. But with a little industry magic and a couple of connections, Stan Lee got word of the project and was happy to oblige.
Take care.
Keith Richards in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Keith Richards is not known for his sobriety. The rocker has a history of partying hard, and his time spent filming 2007's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End was no exception. Richards was so wasted on set that crew members had to secure him in place to stop him from falling over. Nobody even considered the fact that this might be an issue when it came to filming his scenes, even though his reputation is what got him the job in the first place. On top of all that, did the filmmakers really expect a pirate to stay sober?
Oh. Excuse me, are you Neil Patrick Harris?
Neil Patrick Harris in Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Neil Patrick Harris is a massively talented actor who's finally getting the recognition he deserves. Child stars often have the misfortune of being typecast or washed out of the industry completely. But after hanging up his scrubs as Dr. Doogie Howser, NPH stayed active on the theater scene. That is, until he got an excited message from a friend that apparently they'd be working together on a movie called Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Harris hadn't heard anything about the script, let alone agree to play the part. But after some back and forth with the writers, NPH signed on, with the proviso that he would have the final say when it came to his character. How interesting it is that a movie he didn't even know about ended up being the one that resurrected his career.
So I gotta ask you, Neil, did you ever get it on with Wando off the set?
Dude, I humped every piece of ever on that show.
Margot Robbie in The Big Short. Like we mentioned before, The Big Short is a pretty complex movie. To appreciate the ending, you really have to understand every aspect of what's going on. And while that could be said for a lot of films, we think it's especially applicable here. Another celebrity tutor employed by the filmmakers is Margot Robbie. Sipping champagne in a bubble bath is a pretty sweet gig, but it started out as something completely different. This scene originally called for Scarlett Johansson to be delivering the lecture while being soaked by a waterfall. And while that may sound sexy in theory, it would probably be pretty uncomfortable in reality. What do you think of our list? Did we miss any of your favorites? And the answer to the movie emoji is... Did you get the right answer? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Screen Rant for more fun videos like this one.